remember how I described earlier in this story how the spread of the British Empire depended on the sea and control of the sea? Well, I'm in Portsmouth, home of the British Navy, and our story's moved on now to the 19th century, and this truly was the age of British sea power. The 19th century began with Nelson's defeat of the French fleet at Trafalgar. That was in 1805. Well, if you move on 50 years into the reign of Queen Victoria, we were no longer building wooden men of war. Now we were building massive steam-powered ironclads like this, HMS Warrior, a ship so strong, so powerful, no enemy ship ever dared attack her. Truly, in the words of the old song, "Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves." Now, why am I getting so overexcited about this hulk of metal? Well, I'm trying to express the confidence that we Brits felt at this extraordinary moment in our history. Here we were, the world's first industrial nation, leading the world in innovation and technology, in control of territories across the globe from whom we bought raw materials, to whom we sold manufactured goods. And our status as a global superpower seemed so utterly secure because we had gunships with the latest breech-loading cannon and 5 inches of armored plate, and no one else did. But you know what they say, pride comes before a fall. And I want to describe an incident from the reign of Queen Victoria when our imperial confidence, at least for a moment, was punctured. It's the story of the Indian Mutiny. To tell this story, I'm yet again on a ferry, this time crossing the Solent, south of Portsmouth. Here, on the Isle of Wight, stands Queen Victoria's favourite residence, Osborne House. And in the east wing of Osborne House is the Durbar Room, a banqueting chamber designed to honour her role as Empress of India. Now, when Queen Victoria came to the throne in 1837, India wasn't yet under direct British control. At that stage, as I've explained, India was run by a private British company, the East India Company. And that situation continued until the year 1857, when India erupted in rebellion. It began with a mutiny. Local troops in the pay of the East India Company were angry at the introduction of ammunition greased with pig and cow fat, an insult to their religion. But soon this mutiny spread into something far worse. A full-scale uprising across the subcontinent, a violent rejection of British control, a rejection of the imposition of Britishness on the Indian way of life. The rebellion was eventually suppressed by British troops after unspeakable atrocities had been committed by both sides, and so began the so-called Raj, direct British control of India, which was to last for almost a century. But despite the speed with which, as we saw it, we put the damage right, this mutiny hit us hard. We were so used to imagining ourselves in control. More than that, we were used to imagining our civilization as being so obviously superior. Surely any native people offered the fruits of British rule would be grateful. Well, in this instance, clearly not. And so we'd looked to the roots of the mutiny for lessons. And we'd remembered how from the 1830s onwards we'd begun interfering with native customs, legislating against traditions that we deemed uncivilized. We'd outlawed sati, the practice of throwing widows onto the funeral pyres of their dead husbands. We'd outlawed thugi, a vicious sect of highwaymen who waylaid travellers on the roads. So far, so good. But then, we'd gone too far. We looked at India's great religions, Hinduism, Islam. We didn't understand them, we didn't like them. And so we'd sent out Christian missionaries to convert Hindus and Muslims to what we believed was the one true faith. And in so doing, we'd stirred up the discontent that turned a mutiny into a full-scale uprising. India, under the Raj, was the jewel in the imperial crown. But the crisis from which the Raj was born, the mutiny of 1857, revealed the fragility of our empire. More than that,
It showed us what might happen if we thrust our ideas of civilization on a world that didn't want it. How well we'd learnt that lesson remained to be seen.